Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Insightful Accountant webinar, your 2021 strategic blueprint for building accounting firm growth in the construction niche, presented by Gaynor Melke, sponsored by Divi. Insightful Accountant is an online news and information source written for small business advisors interested in the latest news and offerings in accounting technology. My name is Emily Hedrick, and I will be your webinar host. If you have any questions during the session, please enter them in the Q&A box and we'll try to address them. Everyone that has registered will receive a follow-up email with the handout and recording later today. Today's speaker is Gaynor Melke. She is the chief guide at the Bonafide Business Guide, a business consulting firm and owner of Charisma Inc., a digital marketing agency specializing in niche marketing and sales strategy for the accounting profession. She is a certified business coach and has over 20 years of experience in providing business strategy and B2B marketing services to professional services firms in the accounting and finance sectors. Her clients include independent CPA firms, vendors serving the accounting profession, and community banks and credit unions. Thank you, Gaynor, for being here with us. And when you're ready, you can get started.
Thanks, Emily, and welcome everybody. I'm glad you could take some time out to work on your strategic blueprint for building some growth in your firm in the construction niche. And I'm really excited today to talk a little bit about the construction outlook for 2021 and then provide some tactical and strategic recommendations that you can use to grow your niche. And I just wanted to thank Emily for that introduction. As she said, I really specialize in helping accounting professionals dig deeper into their niche and find the opportunities there. So I just wanted to spend 1 minute talking about niche strategy. And I know there's a bit of controversy whether you say niche or niche, but I like niche because it rhymes with rich. And I want us just to think about niche marketing. Obviously, we're here to talk about construction, but think about it beyond just getting clients and think about it as really creating a strategic differentiation for your firm. And really the big takeaway from today is that the deeper you dig into your niche, the more ROI you're going to find. And so you can charge more for that specialization. You can do your marketing much more efficiently because you're very focused on one segment of the market. It's much easier to get referrals and to leverage word of mouth because even though we have all kinds of digital tools and different things that we can do in marketing, referrals and word of mouth are still like gold. And so that's something that having a really strong niche strategy can help you with. And then services can also be more easily productized and integrated. So you can come up with product packaging a lot easier when you're working within a niche. And your workflow can be easily standardized. And you can truly become that trusted thought leader and advisor and deliver more value. So hopefully you've seen that for yourself. And I'm going backwards here. So the big question I want to ask you, we have a polling question coming up, but just something to think about. Do you like your construction clients or do you really love them? Because the riches are really in the niches, but the treasure is really very deep. And so I just want to take a moment for our first polling question, which is which kind of construction clients does your firm serve? I just want to get an idea who's doing residential builders and construction, who's doing commercial construction clients, and who's doing both. So we'll just take a minute there. All right. I'm just gonna minimize that. All right, and looks like we have a mix. So people who are firms that are in the construction niche are really going after both kinds, which is great because today we're going to talk about both residential and commercial in this niche. All right, great, move on. All right, so what I talk about a lot to my clients is really this concept of passion niching. And it's kind of what I was just mentioning before. And it's all about really digging deep and getting into your client's world. Because the more passionate and engaged your firm is about a particular niche, like the construction niche, the more effective and engaged you'll be at scaling your profitability within it. And so the ideal niche is really an inch wide and a mile deep. So a lot of firms that I've worked with, and when we start, they're really sitting on the surface. The vertical industry, such as construction, looks lucrative to them. So they decide, we're just gonna go into the construction niche or dentistry or something like that. But that's really just scratching the surface of your revenue stream. Then there's the middle ground where we create a product offering and kind of work to attract more of the same clients. And that's a little bit deeper into the revenue stream, but really hitting pay dirt requires you to have a really deep understanding and be able to offer that specialized service to a really specific group of customers. And that's where the real revenue is. That's where you get a lot of word of mouth. You become known as the true expert in the niche. So today our goal, and I'm going backwards again. Today our goal is to create a strategic blueprint for growth opportunities for your firm within the construction niche. And we're going to take that concept of passion niching and really build out some strategies and some opportunities that are available given the market outlook. I just also want to call your attention to the fact that we can take all this information and absorb, and you can get the deck later. It'll be emailed out to you. But if we don't take action, we're really not going to be able to seize the opportunity. So we've got 5 different areas in our blueprint. And the first is what we're going to dig into with the market outlook, which is the knowledge of current market forces at play, the translation of the pain points that we find there into solutions you can provide is the second part. And then communicating those solutions and really putting in place that passion niching approach within your firm before you're talking to your clients about it. Because without that foundation of really loving the niche that you're in, it can really fall flat when you're trying to attract new clients and expand relationships. You want to position yourself as being fully invested in your niche. And then understanding of your real client versus your ideal client and what motivates them. And I'll explain that a little bit later as we go on. And then last but not least, some business development strategies specific to the construction niche. So first, what is the market looking like for commercial and residential construction in 2021? And this is really the foundation of your blueprint. This is where you're going to learn what pain your clients are facing and how you can position your firm's services to meet those challenges. So the good news is that next year is looking better than 2020, which isn't surprising because we all know 2020 has been challenging in pretty much every market. And the bad news is, for about a decade, over outlook for commercial construction and the residential building market was fairly strong and there was growth. But obviously in 2020, we saw a steep decline. Overall, it was about 6.5%, but I'm going to get into a chart with some data that just shows, how deep some of the declines have been, especially in the commercial sector. And then it's anticipated to decline about 2% in 2021. So it's starting to flatten out a little bit. but your construction clients are still going to be feeling the pain. And subcontractors are being harder hit than general contractors and larger firms in this niche as well. And some of them are already struggling. So if you're working with subcontractors in this niche, they're certainly going to need your support. And this data will be part of the deck, so you don't need to look at it with a fine-tooth comb right now unless you'd like to. But I wanted to include it. It's from Dodge data, and it's a kind of comparison. You can see for new starts adjusted over the past few years. And in all markets, we see in 2020, there's a big decrease, almost 12%. Coming up to 2021, there's a slight increase, and 2022, we're hoping, for a little bit of an increase as well. So residential has been relatively steady, not as big of a decline as you can see in the commercial sector. I mean, you look at manufacturing buildings, you look at healthcare buildings starts, you look at amusement recreation. Obviously, nobody's building amusement parks right now. Those projects are, probably gone for many years. Lodging, again, nobody's going to be building hotels, just given the pandemic situation and the uncertainty in the market. So just a good overview here where you can really start to see it's the commercial sector that's getting, really hurt by the pandemic. Residential building, there's not a lot of it going on in some of the rural areas, but there are, certainly some new starts in some of the more urban areas. So with the commercial construction market, obviously projects that were in process or near completion, some of them have remained stalled due to the uncertainty with the economy, falling demand, and the concerns, even just with safety measures related to COVID-19. So people not being able to actually get workers on site to finish those projects. And the Federal Reserve is expected to keep interest rates close to zero for the foreseeable future. So hopefully that will help. And also support recovery through large-scale asset purchases and some emergency lending programs, which may help commercial builders as well. And then for residential construction, lower interest rates and more COVID emergency funding may help some residential builders who are hit by those struggling housing starts. Fitch, the credit rating organization, is still rating this industry as being stable, even though it's not expected to grow in 2021. And that's due to a housing shortage. It's definitely a seller's market. Low residential mortgage rates, and more people are working from home. So they're sometimes looking to build something new. All right, so we're going to stop and do our next polling question. If you want to bring that up, Emily. So which of the following do you think is the greatest financial challenge for your construction clients looking ahead to 2021? We've kind of touched on some of the cash flow issues that might be coming up, accounts receivable, access to capital, reduction in revenue, the economic uncertainty, their tax obligations, or maybe there's something else. So we'll take a minute with that one. And then we'll move on to some of the opportunities to excavate opportunities given your client's pain in this niche.
Okay, I'll give you guys 5 more seconds and then we'll go ahead and close it.
All right. Yep, definitely cash flow, economic uncertainty. Very good. So we're certainly going to address those as we move along here. All right. right? So easing the pain of now, and this is where accountants and professionals in this niche can really help their clients with the issues that they're facing. Manage cash flow, expense control, and I'm glad that Divi is sponsoring this webinar because that's a great tool for helping your clients with expense control. And then also partnering with your clients' bankers and other financial and legal professionals to help them navigate the challenges that 2020 and 2021 are presenting effectively. So some other areas where you can certainly use your advisory skills, it's to support any additional small business administration funding, which I'm sure many of you have been doing with PPP loans. Managing the impact of these programs on your clients' tax and overall financial positions. I think that's an area where a lot of businesses in general, aren't really sure what's going to happen if they take those loans or if they've already taken loans and the loan forgiveness aspect of that. And then helping clients through those slow payment cycles, which was evident in the polling questions, with helping clients with their cash flow. And often in the construction industry, especially for those subcontractors, those payment cycles are really slow. Well, they've become even slower now. So those are some of the opportunities. And as we kind of turn to the next part of the blueprint, we want to focus not only on understanding that whole market environment, the context of the pain points, but also getting a little bit deeper into your niche to really understand who your client is. Because I find that when I work with CPA firms, again, if you're just sitting on the surface of the niche, you've kind of got this idealized version of who the client is in your head. Sometimes maybe you've created a persona of who you think they are, but the best place to get a real idea of what your clients need from you, what they're willing to pay money for, is to either ask your existing clients or survey them, or really dig deep into this data that we've kind of touched on now to understand who your real clients are and what they want from you and what pain points they have and how you can solve them. So for just an example of this, to kind of drill down a little bit, is if you're serving general contractors in this niche, we might have an idea in our head of who we think the general contractor is, or if we're trying to attract new clients. But if you look at data and you look at the way that they look for information about services such as accounting and other professional services, you'll see kind of a different picture than what you might have in your head emerges. So typically a general contractor client, still predominantly male, age 35 to 50, might be the business owner or has worked his way up the ranks in a larger construction company. Is very attentive to detail, good at communicating, and works to keep his subcontractors on track. This is where I think a lot of firms kind of miss the boat when they're trying to tap a little bit deeper into the niche and either expand relationships or attract new clients, is thinking that they know where their potential prospects and existing customers are actually looking for information. So you might not think a general contractor is spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, but in reality they are. And they're also a member of 2 to 3 of their industry associations, and they like to be in that to keep their knowledge fresh of the industry. And so when we think about being able to market to this niche and gain traction, we also need to think about being in those places where they're looking for information. And so we're going to talk a little bit about industry associations later on, but that's something to keep in mind. And then honing in on what their challenges are. So finding trades, products, and systems that match the plans and specifications of building projects, managing the budget and business financials, which all fit perfectly into accounting firms' wheelhouse. So this is your, general contractor or perhaps construction business owner, and they want specialized help and they're willing to pay for it as well. So how can you provide that help? Going back to some of the pain points that we identified before, we've got the cash flow crunch, which obviously monthly accounting and outsourced CFO services are a good match for that. Expense management with bookkeeping, bill pay, again, some of the accounting work, and tools such as Divi being that advisor so that you can really show your clients, not only that you understand what their pain is given the existing situation, but how you can match up what you do with the way that they need your help as well. And payroll tax withholding confusion. There's been some different things that have come out of the White House on payroll tax holidays and that sort of thing, which can be confusing, especially if you're working with larger construction firms and they have employees and contractors, and how does all of that work? And then uncertainty about their income, the tax implications of loan programs, and unclear financial pictures. If you look back at our kind of real client that we're working with in the construction niche, those are all concerns and pain points that we could address with advisory services. So I think we'll stop and do our third polling question, just so we make sure that we can get it in. And what services are you providing to your construction clients right now? So is it outsourced CFO services, outsourced accounting and bookkeeping, maybe tax preparation, tax planning, payroll, advisory services, or something else?
All right, just 5 more seconds and we'll get it closed out.
Okay. Do we have any questions, Emily?
We have a comment that says different types of construction people are very different personality types. Remodelers are in a relationship industry. Developers have to be very politically oriented. Custom home builders are in a manufacturing mindset, all very different in their outlook.
That's a really good point. And that kind of speaks to knowing who your real client is, as opposed to just lumping everybody together into construction people. So that's very good. All right. So a lot of outsourced accounting and bookkeeping, the outsourced CFO services, tax prep, tax planning, payroll, advisory services. So it's pretty well rounded then. So that's great. All right. So this is another area that I see a lot of firms really skip over. And I think it's really important if you're going to dig deep and become kind of the go-to resource for accounting, or for construction clients, whether they're residential or commercial. And that's having a firm philosophy that that's an important part of your business, and you really have a service heart for it, as opposed to just trying to provide the same services that you provide to other clients in the same kind of packaging as you do to your construction niche, and really celebrating your construction clients and living through their businesses with them, the ups and the downs. And of course, right now we're sort of in a unfortunate down cycle, but this is a great place for firms to be able to shine and really help. All right. So digging deeper to know your niche is really part of the whole firm philosophy. And I touched on this a little bit previously, but in order to really become that trusted advisor and the place where construction clients know that they have somebody who understands, you know, how their business is working and what they need, it needs to be a two-way flow of information. And I see a lot of firms, and I'll give you kind of an example in a couple of minutes of a firm website where they've really dug pretty deep into the niche. A lot of firms will just kind of throw on their website, you know, who we serve, construction industry, and maybe there's a page about it, but they're not really doing any kind of interaction with their existing construction clients or, you know, prospects. And there's some really simple things that you can do. One is, you know, simple networking in those associations that we talked about, so that you become part of their community, as opposed to, you know, an accounting firm that, you know, they know has kind of generalized services, but doesn't really have a pulse on their business. You know, surveys are something that you can do by email. You can use something like SurveyMonkey, which is free, and, you know, ask them, you know, what their top challenges are. We've kind of covered some of the pain points based on some of the market data, but, you know, the best place to find out how you can expand relationships with your clients is by actually asking them, and a lot of firms don't ever do that. Reviews, hopefully you have set up so that you can get Google reviews for your firm, or maybe it's Facebook reviews, or, you know, Trustpilot or some other mechanism, but those are like gold. You know, you can really, even if they're negative, you can really learn a lot, and you should respond to them as well. You know, if you want to get a little bit deeper, having some kind of virtual focus group where you kind of got some of your best clients talking to you about the issues and how they'd like you to help them solve them. You could even ramp it up to an advisory board. If you're, you know, active on social media, social listening, so you're, you know, kind of playing within the comments that clients are leaving, or going into groups on LinkedIn and listening to the conversation there. Beta testing, I had a really interesting situation with a client recently where they had put together some client advisory service infrastructure. They were all set. They had their workflow all set up. They were ready to, you know, start marketing client advisory services within the residential construction niche. And they had, you know, a couple of firms that they thought would be, or a couple of companies that they thought would be great fits, but they were having trouble getting traction. And, you know, they're like, we don't know how to sell this. And I said to them, well, did you ever talk to any of your existing clients about, you know, how to package these services and, you know, what would be of interest to them? And they were like, well, no. And I said, you know, sometimes that's the best place to start when you're thinking about ways that you can either expand your service offerings within a niche or attract new clients, is, you know, ask for some feedback first. And it seems really obvious, but a lot of firms don't do that. And then anecdotal feedback. I mean, sometimes it's those conversations that you have with your clients, you know, during tax planning, or just, you know, regular outreach, where you can gain a lot of information as well. And so that also shows, like, across a firm-wide perspective, that you're really invested in the niche, and it's not just a top-level kind of get more clients strategy. And that goes back to really clarifying and communicating your why you're serving this niche as well. From there, we develop service packages to solve pain points. You know, it's a lot easier when you're able to put the packages together that are very ideal for your niche, as opposed to trying to do one-off proposals all of the time. Not to say that we won't have to customize some of our service packages, but it's a lot easier when we align them with solving their pain points. And then marketing to existing and potential clients is really the last step in your niche strategy. And we're going to talk a little bit about that now. And let's hit our last question, if you don't mind, Emily, before we get into this. So how do you currently market your firm services within this niche? Strategic partnerships. So for example, we're belonging to an association, or maybe we network with some of our local businesses, word of mouth and referrals, email marketing, advertising and trade publications, pay-per-click or Google advertising, doing some PR outreach, social media, or maybe there's something else.
Give you guys 10 more seconds to answer.
Maybe it's none of the above. Maybe you're doing so well that you don't need to. Word of mouth and referrals. Yeah. All right. So not too many people doing anything than word of mouth, which I think can be seen in a couple of different ways. One is we haven't put together a plan or a blueprint to do so, and you're looking for more construction clients or expanding those relationships, or you've been so successful that the new clients and expanded relationships come automatically. So let's hope it's the latter for sure. All right. Okay, so we're going to go back just to that concept of who your real construction client is and where are they getting their information, because this last part of the blueprint is really about honing in on where your clients are actually going to hear your voice and see your firm. And a lot of firms, whatever niche they might be targeting, tend to think about the niche and the business development strategies as completely separate. So, well, everybody's doing email marketing or everybody on Facebook, so I'm going to do those things, even though, for construction clients, that's, some of those tools totally don't apply because, those particular clients, that's not where they're spending their time or getting their information. So it's important to know where your audience is actually searching for a solution to their problems, and that's where we should spend our resources. So one really important takeaway, I think a lot of us think that maybe construction clients aren't online that much. And the data actually shows that they spend a lot of time online, and particularly looking for solutions for business to business search in general, not just construction, but overall. The buying decisions are usually 70% made through online search before anybody ever contacts your firm. So that's something to keep in mind. Your web presence is crucial when it comes to developing your niche and also serving your existing clients, because they're looking for information as well, and they're not going to, call you up and ask you for the latest market data that they can use. They're going to go to your website and look for it. So websites still key. Having an inbound strategy to drive new prospects over with good content is really important. But I also mentioned before being on LinkedIn, especially in construction groups, is a great way to keep connected to clients, or start your own group on LinkedIn and invite your clients to it. You can have some great conversations, and it shows how invested you are in their niche. And then what form of content, are construction industry clients looking for? Again, a lot of them are actually educating themselves on best business practices, and they're doing a lot of reading online. Email, I still think, is a strong tool that you can use as well, especially with your existing clients, because they're looking for that information from you as well. So let's just break it down a little bit. For your existing construction clients, I've always said that I could, spend the rest of my career just working on firm websites where there's wheezing going on. And wheezing is kind of a word that I made up, where firms tend to talk from their perspective instead of the client perspective. So we do this and we do that, and we are the accounting firm that serves construction clients. Instead, we want to turn that around and show that we understand what their pain is, what their industry is, and what they're going through on a day-to-day basis. So show them why you're passionate about serving their business and why it's really all about them, and your firm, what your firm does is really supporting their goals. And using a helpful and educational context to drive communication, as opposed to just pushing services. So again, if we go back to kind of our examples of, these are the pain points that you're facing as an industry, cash flow, expenses, all of those things. How can we position, we understand what your pain is, and this is how we help you. And then another very useful thing to do is to segment your client base by current service usage and cross-sell other services. And you might do that by email within solving your pain framework. So if somebody is a payroll client but not an accounting services client, then we would certainly want to talk to them about, we're working with your payroll, but we can help you with all other aspects of managing the financial side of your business with accounting services. And your firm may be doing some of this, but I think when we position it in terms of solving those pain points, it becomes a lot more relevant to construction clients as well. You might want to do a webinar or a video. You don't even have to do a live webinar like this one. You could record something and send it out. Just talking, instead of a big long written email about what's coming up in taxation for 2021, you could do something that's recorded just for your construction clients with a quick video. And they would probably find that very helpful, and maybe forward it to some friends too. And then use your end of the year meetings, if you're having those, even if you're having them virtually, and other touch points to expand relationships by cross-selling against some of those pain points. Another thing that a lot of firms have done just in general with COVID-19 is to set up a little resource center on your website. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be a link with some links to relevant content, but you could do that just within the construction niche with some resources for residential versus commercial clients, and whether it's something about tax planning or payroll, or a combination, like a little ebook that they could download. Again, that's something that would be very useful. You could also create a landing page and drive that out to see if you can get some new clients as well. So attracting new construction clients, again, we're going to go back to what we've reiterated throughout this webinar, is really fishing where the fish are. The deeper you go, the more buried treasure there is. So we need to remember that when we're trying to attract new construction clients, we're not thinking just in terms of what tactics we can use. We're thinking in terms of where they actually hanging out and where are they getting their information. So we've talked a little bit about inbound marketing and adding some things to your website. Again, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to do it all at once and make a website that's only about construction, but it should certainly, your website should certainly reflect the fact that that's an area of specialization for you. Google My Business, having reviews from other construction clients on there, and making sure that you show up in relevant searches. LinkedIn, this is another area where I find a lot of firms are not leveraging the opportunities to connect even with their existing clients. But I urge you to get your profile ready, and if you're not already on LinkedIn, please go on LinkedIn, because that's where all of your business to business action is taking place. And the data shows that, in particular in the construction niche, these clients are actually quite active on this platform. They're in groups, they want to learn and engage and do better in their business. So if you can be there and provide either answers to questions or your own content, you can really leverage some opportunities there. And asking your existing clients for referrals, now is the time. I'm sure that they know several other firms in the construction niche who could certainly use your help as well. So this is just an example that I wanted to bring up of a firm that's really dug pretty deep into the construction niche. It's a firm actually in Michigan where I'm at, Strategic CPA, and it's very clear when you go to their website, construction accounting services. Their whole website is really devoted to construction. They do serve a couple of other niches, but you can see they've even got, who we serve and construction businesses we serve. I mean, everything from, actual small contractors, roofing companies. They do commercial construction, but it's very easy to see that, if you're in the construction niche, this is a firm that would know what you need and how to solve your pain as well. They've even got, a little booklet that they've put together. So just some food for thought. Again, you don't need to build this tomorrow, but if you're going to dig deeper into the construction niche, you certainly want your website, which is one of the first places that prospects and clients are going to go to represent the fact that you're expert in this area. And attracting new construction clients, just a few more ideas. The trade association, if you've got the time or somebody in your firm who has a passion for it, you can certainly provide articles to trade associations. They're always looking for good content. And I actually had a client, they were in the dentistry niche, and they used a strategy of providing, just some short articles every month to National Trade Association, and they've done really well getting more client referrals because of that, because they're seen as a thought leader. So again, in the construction niche, these business owners are looking for information, and so it's a great way to position your firm to provide it. We've already talked a lot about LinkedIn. Having a blog devoted to the construction niche on your website is something else. And being a guest on a podcast or webinar. Again, you don't have to build some of these things, but looking for opportunities to provide expertise to people who are already talking to your niche is an excellent way to leverage opportunities as well. So the bottom line is really, from a marketing perspective, everything from understanding the context of how your construction client's business is being impacted with the data points that we looked at, through, creating a service-minded culture within your firm for these particular clients, to the marketing aspect, which is really getting involved deeper in your construction prospects world, in your construction clients world as well. And that's what's important. So I did put together a little resource. If you wanted to go to bonafidebusinessguide.com, you can just download it for construction client resources. And it's called Great Places to Meet New Construction Clients. So I put together some resources where you can go and get involved in the construction niche a little bit more deeply, and you learn about some of the deeper issues that are impacting your clients, as well as interact with them as well. So hopefully you'll find that useful. And I'm going to wrap up. Our firm certainly is happy to answer any other questions that you might have today. I don't know if we had any other questions, Emily.
No, just another comment. Someone who's focused on residential construction job cost accounting and QuickBooks for 25 plus years. I will share that anyone who wants to seriously get into the construction arena should be prepared to do some deep learning and invest in staff training.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that really speaks to what we were talking about. It's really a firm-wide approach, because without having that deep knowledge, again, you're just kind of sitting on the surface and you're not differentiating your firm. I mean, you really have to get your hands dirty and live the construction life with your client, and that's what makes a great trusted advisor as well. So you can certainly email me. We provide full service marketing and strategic business consulting. And I am going to leave it with this, and then I'm going to throw it over to Camden at Divi. But I just want to reiterate just something to take away with you today as you think about constructing your blueprint, is how deep is your firm willing to dig into the construction niche? If you really want to have an impact in 2021, think about some of the things that we talked about today and how you might implement them in your firm. So that's understanding the market forces on a deep level for 2021 and beyond, knowing the numbers in that environmental and market force context and how they impact your client's business situation, how you can position your products and services as solutions to the pain that they're feeling and undergoing. And to remember that the best marketing and sales ROI really comes from being that go-to resource and getting involved in your construction clients' world. So, you can niche or you can passion niche, and I hope that you choose the latter. So Camden, I am going to pass it over to you.
Thank you. Just give me 1 second. Would you mind stop sharing your screen? I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Sure.
But thank you. I really appreciate your thoughts. I'm a little bit biased. I'm working at a technology firm, but anything that's tech focused is, focusing on websites, focusing on building out your online presence is, I think, very invaluable advice. I just want to take a little bit of everybody's time and talk about Divi and especially our Divi partner program. So this is probably something that's pretty common to most people. I saw in that polling question that Gainer released that a lot of us are focusing on outsourced bookkeeping and kind of helping our clients with managing their books and their accounting processes. And we see this all the time. At the end of the month, you have a client that sends you maybe just a credit card statement or just, all these different formats from all these different clients that just create a mess, right? When you're trying to figure out where your money or where your client's money is lie and where they stand with everything. And this is just a fundamental problem that's pretty broken in the accounting software or the accounting world. And Divi comes here to solve this problem. Divi solves this problem with revolutionizing how we use technology in accounting. And Emily, there's a couple polling questions. Would you mind releasing that first one right now? Thank you. So the question is, how likely is your firm to adopt new fintech that provides better processes for you and your clients' financial operations? And I'll give it a quick second for everybody to answer that, but we've experienced, especially in 2020, just some craziness with having to push everything online. And we found a lot of benefit. I mean, Zoom we're on a Zoom call right now, right? This is like the epitome of like revolution or like innovation in 2020. And you can close it out. Thank you, Emily. And what we're here to bring is kind of a different type of innovation to the accounting software, your tech stack really. And so what is Divi? Divi is a expense management system that's tied to a corporate credit card, right? So everything that happens on your company credit card is now brought into a single place that eliminates the need for expense reports, that brings all data into one unifying, like there's no need to deal with all these different formats and all these chasing down different reps or chasing down different clients for different information. It's all brought into one. We have a transaction that's swiped, it goes straight into the Divi software, and we have a very, very seamless integration with QuickBooks Online, and we're building out different integrations with different accounting softwares. And it allows you, as accountants, you have so much advice and knowledge that you can share, and really that you should be sharing with your clients. But you have to spend all this time building out these expense reports, right? Trying to gather this information. You really turn into more of a financial babysitter kind of role and less of an advisor, which you really should be. And something else that comes with Divi is absolute adherence to budget numbers, right? So with Divi, you're able to control what is spent, who spends it, and where it is spent, right? You're able to assign groups of people or individuals, certain budgets, and they can't go over that budget, right? And if they want to, they have to request more money from either you or, whoever else is in charge of the finances for your clients. But this kind of Divi power the kind of power that Divi brings is the ability to spend smarter, right? The ability to have more control of your finances and have better tracking. And what happens when you bring a client onto Divi platform? Right now, accounting firms love us. Accounting firms use us, but we're here to help you help your clients, right? We're here to help you to become a better accountant for your clients so that you can become more of an advisor. Divi will replace all corporate credit cards that, kind of cause a mess, right? Whether it be personal Amex cards or, different corporate credit cards that require a bunch of managing and all that stuff. But then also it will replace expense management softwares, whether that be the Goliaths that, like we're in the same space as Expensify and Concur, or whether it just be an Excel spreadsheet. We're handle both of those kind of situations. And we also replace travel management. We have unfortunately, there's not a lot of traveling happening right now, but when there was and when there will be, we have a platform that ties directly to that company credit card and that allows people to travel. And we have an AP solution, a bill pay option, right? For those that want all of their services to kind of be on one platform, we allow that to happen with Divi. And one of the best parts about Divi is that it's completely free. It's free to you as the advisor and accountant, and it's also free to your client. We make money on the credit card processing, and so to you and your clients, it's completely free. There's no upsells, there's no contracts even. We make money when it's being used. So it incentivizes us to really try our hardest to make our product the best. And I just want to close right here. Divi is great for your firm, but it's even better for your clients, right? We are an offering that you can bring to the table as whether to make yourself stickier with the clients that you already have, or you're able to attract new clients by showing that you're more of a tech forward firm. We're also able to help you save money. And the biggest thing that Divi does for you and your customers and your clients is allows you to become the advisors that you really are. We save time. We allow you to kind of focus on more of what's really important about accounting and kind of take out the chores that you have to do. But thank you so much, everybody, for hopping on this call. I really appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact me at camden.bean@getdivi.com, or check out our website. If you're ever interested, we have teams of people ready to talk to you and kind of have an exploratory phone call with you.
Camden, I have a comment and a question.
Yes.
The comment says, we are a partner and our clients love it. Our construction clients are able to segregate costs by project using the same card. So that was just a comment from someone who is a partner.
Perfect.
And then, awesome. And someone asked, does Divi work with American Express?
Great question. So we just implemented a reimbursement program. And so Divi, the power of Divi is using that Divi credit card. However, if you have somebody who's using an American Express, we do have a reimbursement option so that they can still integrate with the Divi software. Does that answer your question, Cindy? We'll assume it is. I can't see anything.
Thank you, Camden. I'm going to give just a few more seconds for everybody to finish the last poll question. Oh, and we do have another question. Does Divi work with QB Desktop?
Great question. We do, right now, we do not have integration with QB Desktop, but we have a team of people that help with the integration with, teaching people how to export lists and upload into QB or QBD or QB Desktop. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Camden. Thank you for your presentation. Gaynor, do you have any last thoughts you want to say before we close out?
I don't. I just know that Alicia is doing her construction webinar, and I think we had a slide for that. Do you have that, Emily?
Oh, I don't have it up, but I will put that in the follow-up email. It is, I don't want to say the wrong date, but I think it's December 3rd. So great. I'll get that in the follow-up email so that the registration link is easy for everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I hope you found it useful, and good luck digging into the construction niche.
Gaynor, thank you for being here. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. I will get the webinar recording and the presentation to everyone here shortly. We hope to see you at the next Insightful Accountant webinar. Everyone have a good day.